saying thank you to you guys for welcoming us to Nebraska. My family's here. We're enjoying it. It's a dream come true for me, and I'm excited to get to work. My grandma probably kill me right now because I don't have a haircut for this, but just been grinding, and the players been grinding. I look forward to working with those guys, and I'm excited about building relationships with you guys and getting this thing back on track. So ask away anything. I enjoy this part of it.
If you would, just kind of introduce yourself to coach as you ask questions too.
Hey Terrance, Luke Mullen from Lincoln Journal-Star. Just curious, when you're talking to recruits out there, how important has your time in the NFL been? Talking to them about having been there, done that.
I think it's something that it's important to talk about. All the kids have admirations of playing in the NFL, and being a guy who's played in the NFL and played on really good teams and played with a lot of Hall of Famers. They always ask about those experiences, and I have no problem using that as recruiting bait or just as regular conversation. So football has given me and my family everything that we have, and for a lot of kids I recruit, football is their way out. So it shows that I'm also relatable, and I've been in their situation, and it's an easy conversation. It's an easy conversation because I understand them, and I've been in their shoes. And I always tell them, never mind the gray hairs. That's just from a lot of, recruiting and coaching. But I can relate to those guys. I'm only 36 years old, so I'm not that far removed.
Steve Sipple from HuskerOnline.com. Did you play the game with designs on becoming a coach?
Honestly, no. What happened was when I was playing and how I interacted with my teammates, and how I picked up the installs really quick, and how I communicate on the field, a lot of coaches would say, hey, you should be an NFL coach, or you should go into coaching, or when you're done, look into internships to be a coach and those type of things. So, it's something that, once I was done playing football, I was trying to find another way to be around the game, and coaching was the way. So, it's done right by me now. So, like I said, I'm living the dream right now, being in Nebraska, and I want to thank those guys for planting that seed, and I look forward to what it gives me and my family, and looking forward to changing some lives.
Terrance, Brian Christopherson with Husker 24/7. What's allowed you to hit the ground so fast as a recruiter? I mean, did you kind of study some people when you're getting into coaching and how they did it, or what's allowed you to be successful quickly in it?
The crazy thing about that is, Coach Rule came to Temple my sophomore year. He was my D-line coach, and the level of urgency that they had as coaches, it changed us as men. So this started just from learning from them how they do things, the urgency that they had with the classroom, being in the community, getting in shape, football, everything. And it's just something they instilled in us. And, the time I was at Temple, it wasn't an attractive place to be like it is now. But, we were part of the building blocks to what it is now. But just the urgency that they had, and, the way they wanted us to live our life kind of helped us to be successful, whether it was football, coaching, or working at Apple. It could have been anything.
Mm-hmm. Sam McEwen from the Omaha World Herald.
How are you?
Coach. Just a basic way, like what positions are you sort of overseeing? Do you oversee the edge rushers? Do you oversee just the interior linemen? How does that work?
Right now, we're still trying to figure that out. I know I'll have the edge guys, but Tony's scheme is a little different than it has been in the past here. And we're still trying to figure out if that fourth guy is a linebacker, DN. We don't know, and that's kind of going to work to our advantage. So we're still figuring that out, and, hopefully once, when we figure that out, hopefully other teams won't figure that out until Saturday. So
Can you talk about the transfers, or is that not something that's under your purview yet?
as far as what?
The player from Georgia, the player from Florida, if they signed, or they.
Well,
Can you talk about
as people, they're great human beings. That's what we look for first. The football will handle itself, but if you're not a guy that's representing the program the right way on and off the field, then we have no interest. Whether you're a 5-star guy or a 1-star guy, you got to do things the right way and do them Coach Rule's way, and it's proven to be successful. And You know, it's a lot of guys on the staff who's played for him, worked for him, and have some type of relationship with him. So we believe in the process. We believe in, you know, what he's preaching, and it's going to work. So we got to make sure we have the right guys that are around that are going to buy in. And then just from the football aspect, you know, if they're here as a football player and we feel like they can help us, you know, they're here for a reason. They're here for that reason. So, you know, they got to have a certain skill set, a certain, you know, work ethic about them. And that's pretty much all you need. And if you can do that part, you know, as an individual, then the coaching, you know, will handle the rest.
Hey, Coach, Sean Callahan with Husker Online. What did you know about Nebraska before you took this job? Have you ever been to Nebraska before? And what have you learned in just a couple months now?
So my first time coming to Nebraska was a year ago. My fiance's birthday, we came out here for a concert, and it was really cold in February. And, you know, we were like, well, at least we can say we've been in Nebraska. And then now I'm back here again. But growing up, you know, Nebraska was always a school I admired. All the great players that have been here, obviously all the national championships in the 90s. You know, I tell kids all the time that don't know, you know, when I was growing up, Nebraska was the Alabama, the Georgia, you know, and that's what we're trying to get it back to. And that's where it deserves to be. You know, it's one of the, you know, it's one of the schools that when you get that offer, it's something that, you know, your eyes should light up. You know what I mean? Just like the other schools. So Coach Rule has a good foundation set as far as like how we're going to go about things on a day-by-day basis. But, you know, we have the right guys here and they're ready to attack it. So, you know, as long as they match, you know, Coach Rule's intensity and our intensity as coaches and exceed those expectations, we'll be fine.
What concert?
It was a concert. It was like Jagged Edge, Genuine. It was like a lot of hip-hop, R&B. And because her birthday's February 12th, and it was on February 14th was the concert, it was like a Valentine's Day concert. So, you know, February is a tough month. You know, they handle the cold. But, you know, I guess I kind of put that energy in our universe, and now we're back in Nebraska, and, you know, we love being here.
What did you notice about the talent you inherited? I mean, what's your assessment of what you walked into?
Honestly, you know, when Coach Rue said he was taking the job and he offered me a D-line job, I had no idea what we were going into roster-wise. And just meeting the guys and watching a lot of tape, you know, we're not that far off. And you know, you kind of wonder because you just look at the record and you kind of make a judgment based on the record. But, you know, losing a lot of close games, you know, for me, you know, I feel like that's culture. That's culture in the locker room amongst the players. And, you know, that's a direct image of, you know, the leadership. Because, you know, in the fourth quarter, when the game is tight, you want the players to say, hey, we're not losing this game. You want that to come from the players. So, you know, it's just developing that mindset during the offseason, attacking everything each day, and, you know, making Saturdays the easy day of the week. So we're gonna attack it this offseason. The guys are kind of anxious right now because this will be the first time they're around the coaches and, you know, working with us next week. So I'm looking forward to that and, you know, seeing what we have as far as a toughness standpoint and a competitive standpoint.
Maybe just from the Lincoln Journal Star, how did your last couple of years at Carolina help with that?
You know, in the NFL, you meet a lot of different personalities. And, you know, when I played with different personalities, but, you know, I didn't have to manage them. So in the NFL, when you have to manage those different personalities, you kind of learn a lot about guys. And whether it's college or the NFL, you know, guys always appreciate if you get to know them on a personal basis. Because sometimes in the NFL, you get so caught up in the business side of it and statistical part of it, you know, you forget at the end of the day that some of these guys in the NFL are still kids, you know, and, you know, they're used to being highly recruited and, you know, used to people hearing good things, you know, used to hearing good things said about them. So now they're in the NFL, you know, one play is a meme or, you know, it's a GIF on Instagram or anything like that. So just building relationships, just like anything else. And like I said, football always handles itself if you have good coaching and a good culture. But I think building those relationships with people, and if they believe in you and they trust you, that'll handle itself.
I know you're just in the initial conversations probably, but what sticks out or early impressions about Tony White's scheme and just, you know, what did it entail?
Good luck. Good luck because it's a lot. It's going to be a lot to defend. It's kind of, you're going to lose some sleep trying to figure out where we're lined up, where guys are lined up, how we're going to attack you, and and you got to have dynamic guys for a scheme like that. So I'm looking forward to learning that, just as much as I am, learning the guys. Because like I said, we've been on the road recruiting, haven't done much football yet, but we're getting back into the football things now, and looking forward to hearing his philosophy a little bit more, and how he envisions our roster. And once we see the guys move around, I'm looking forward to hearing his perspective on where guys should line up and how they'll be effective.
It's Candy from KTV. First time in the Big Ten. What do you think about the Big Ten as a conference, and how is that a fit for you in terms of the style you play and the guys you know?
For one, I know that as far as the Big Ten, you're always going to have teams that are competing for the national championship. So the standard is already set, and not only just from the other opponents in the conference, but just from what was built here, the winning tradition. All those things have been set. So there's a standard that we know, Nebraska is going to hold us to, and we're going to meet those standards and try to, exceed them as well. And like I said, I'm looking forward to those, to rivalry games, Black Friday, those type of things. I'm looking forward to those traditions and being a part of it. And like I said, just something I dreamed about as a kid growing up, watching, trying to be a part of as a player. But now I get to do it as a coach, so I'm excited.
Evan Bland, Omaha World Herald. Can you describe your nickname as a player? Pot Roast?
Yeah.
Where did that come from? And do guys still call you that now? Are you coach Pot Roast now?
So the high school kids, not necessarily. Some of the college kids still know. But we're coming back from Seattle. It was my rookie year, so obviously as a rookie, I don't have a say on anything. We're coming back from Seattle. They just kicked our butt. It was like 42-7 or something like that. And a 6-hour flight back to Jacksonville, and the lights are off on the plane. And the flight attendant comes around, asks everybody what they want for dinner. And it was shrimp Alfredo or pot roast. So I don't eat seafood, so shrimp Alfredo was out of it. And pot roast is beef, so that was actually my first time having it. And I thought I'm going to go with the pot roast. So like 10 minutes later, she comes back down the aisle. She's like, pot roast. And I lean over. I'm like, right here. And my teammate behind me, who's kind of like the comedian of the team, Clint Ingram, he was like, man, you said that like that was your name. And, the certain guys on the team, not to get started or stay away from. So I'm like, whatever. And I go, I eat my food, go back to sleep. And the next day I'm doing media and talking to the media about how we just, gave 150 yards rushing and all that. And I see him walking over, and I'm like, oh, man, here we go. And he's like, hey, from now on, y'all call him pot roast. And obviously they asked about it, ran with it. And, once it hit Twitter and everyone liked it, it stuck with me. And, big man needs a nickname. So, you probably hear a lot of stories that I ate all the pot roast on the plane. That's not true. That's really the story. That's really the story of how it happened. So, it stuck with me. And then when I went to Denver, when I signed as a free agent there, I tried to get rid of the name and said, hey, why don't y'all come up with something? And the Bronco fans were like, no, pot roast is going to stay. So it stuck with me, and I'm still pot roast now. So I enjoy it.
What do you think's good to being a good pass rusher, whether you're an edge guy or an interior guy? What's important about being good at that? When you've been on good defenses, both as a player and a coach, what do they do well?
As far as players, there's always different ways to get to a pass to the quarterback. Playing with Von Miller, he's a guy that God took his time and, created. He just has a special ability to, he's flexible, to bend around the edge, his get off, those type of things are like second to none. And then you play with great players like Aaron Campman. I know he's an Iowa guy, but, he's a great player, but, a guy respected that, didn't have all the flexibility, didn't have all the, God-given talent, but worked at his hands, his feet, worked at his craft. So there's different things that you look for, but initially you just hope you got a guy who athletically can burst off the ball, has the ability to be flexible, and then the rest of it you can coach.
When people ask you, what's it like to work for Coach Rule, what comes to mind immediately?
Accountability. He's not a head coach. He's not going to be the last guy in. He's not going to be the first guy out. You know, it's a competitive staff, honestly, to me. And when I say that, I mean, like, we're all trying to outwork each other, which helps. You know, nobody wants to be the weak link. Nobody wants to be outworked by another coach or position group. And Coach Rule kind of sets that tone because you know how much he works and you know how much he believes and what he believes in, how much time he puts into that and how much time he puts into players. So, you know, at times I sit back and admire how he's able to balance being a head coach, being a father, you know, helping us young coaches develop those type of things, like, and still remember every single recruit that, you know, that he's interacted with in the past 2 months. So, you know, he's a special guy for that reason. And like I said, it's admirable. And I think that's why we have the staff that we have and everybody's going to work because we all see that every single day. So it sets the tone.
The staff, with the exception of a couple, is fairly young. What has that chemistry been like as y'all are, some of you have existing relationships, but as you come together as this staff?
You enjoy what you do. I mean, I come to work every day and I enjoy being here. Evan Cooper, me and him were college roommates. You know, Adam DeMichael, you know, Omar Hales, we all played together. So it's a special bond that we've been developed. And, you know, when Coach Rule was coaching us. So he's seen us grow into young men, see us grow into fathers, grow into husbands. And, you know, we understand him, we get him, we know exactly what he wants. And, you know, I think that's why he hired how he hired. You know, just having the right people around him, people that are going to put the players first, put winning first, and put any agendas or selflessness to the side just so we can do what we have to do to win.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.